You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
you are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA. Home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. If you missed the cancer research doctors who actually worked with my past guest, Fran Drescher, on minimizing and preventing cancer with diet, or my fabulous second interview with the mom of classic TV, Mrs. Cunningham, the beloved Marion Ross, please go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe. You will get all 978 past shows. We are at number 979 today. I'm so grateful for all of y'all's support. Especially those who said that a show that was not political ranting or angry gossip would not survive. I'm glad you were wrong. And instead, I'm so glad that you're here. And today I have a very special guest. We've been trying to get her on, I guess, for a little bit. Her name is Sariah Parker. And just to give you a little sample of, I promoted her yesterday as the best-selling author. She has a new book out, Lost Soul. But what you didn't know, what I didn't put on there, was she used to be a number of things that she doesn't look like it, you know. But, dealer, madam, entertainment specialist, aka stripper, addict, and demonic. We're gonna have to talk about that one. And as you can see now, she is was one of those lost souls, found her soul and more. She's now a business owner extraordinaire. She's an entrepreneur on steroids, and she's a mom, and she's a coach, and she's many things. Please welcome to my studio, Sariah Parker.
How are you?
I am happy and grateful, Sariah. So glad to have you in studio. And before we start talking about your book and the topic, I started this practice or this discipline with my listeners and watchers about a year ago. Let's go ahead and have breakfast with them by taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, if you start the day with 5 things that you're grateful for, you're going to have a great day. I'm a little bit of an overachiever, so we do 8. We'll do 4 between the two of us, and very short, specific, not friends and family, too general. And it is the top of the bun, followed by the bottom of the bun, which is, what do I like about myself? What do I appreciate about myself? Because a lot of us, if you don't like yourself, you're going to have a tough time in life, because you're constantly going to be going around looking for likes, literally. And that's not a very stable ground from which to live life on. So I want you to weight train your appreciation of yourself, because, as I'm known to say, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork can you expect anyone else to approve of you? So that's what the gratitude sandwich is that we're taking a bite of for breakfast. I will start. I am grateful for this platform that I get to meet really interesting people and talk about really interesting things. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for life, just being able to live again and knowing what living is about, truly about.
I am grateful that I had a blast in Las Vegas at the WFG convention. Sariah and I are part of the same financial family now, and it was quite the convention. 30,000 people at the MGM Grand, and wow, blew my socks off. So I'm grateful that we got to connect there. Go ahead.
I am grateful for being the connector of all nations. That's what I call myself. And being able to be connected with people like you, John Shen, very successful, uplifting people, and just being surrounded about that aura all the time.
Yay. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. I accept. A final gratitude is for makeup, because it can cover stuff, and I feel more ageless with my makeup on, and I don't use Botox or any of that stuff. So I'm grateful for makeup.
Well, I am grateful for being the lender and not the borrower. At one time, I was always a borrower, but now I can always lend help, love, and just joy and happiness.
Oh, I like that. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation. And what do I appreciate about myself? The ability to adjust, whether it's lighting or camera or my attitude. I am a good adjuster.
So I can say that I'm like a chameleon. I can be in any situation, any environment, and can fit right in. So you can never tell that I don't belong.
I appreciate that I love to play. I'm a really good winner. I love board games. I love mahjong. I love anything that is involved with the hope or the possibility of winning. I'm a very good winner.
Awesome. I'm a determiner. I love being very determined in what I do. The fact that I was determined in my past, doing what I did when it was for bad, and now I turned that whole that life around. I can be determined in all great things, and I'm really, really good at it with excellence.
Sounds great. I am, let's see, I'm a good, hopeful person. I every morning I put my life jacket on with a silver lining, and it's very easy for me to look for the bright side of whatever's happening. And yeah, so I'll say that about myself. That's my final appreciation. What's yours?
My final appreciation is I'm a lover. I'm a deep lover. I'm very true, and I'm so loyal. Like very, very loyal.
Wonderful. And that is it for having breakfast with my guest, Sariah Parker and Dr. Marissa. I hope you enjoyed your breakfast. I hope that if you continue this practice, this discipline of 28 days having breakfast with me, I promise your days will be filled with wonder and unexpected fabulousness. Thanks for joining us. And I see some eyeballs rolling in. I just want to welcome you again to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here in my 585 consecutive weeks on the air. That's over 11 weeks if you don't want to do the math. 11 years if you don't want to do the math. And I'm so grateful that you're here. The link is in my YouTube, in my link tree, in my bio and Instagram. You can stream live now not only on YouTube, but LinkedIn and Facebook. But the YouTube channel is my central. Please do free subscribe there. Not only will you get interviews like this live, you will also get my red carpet interviews with people like Halle Berry and John Travolta, and of course the Temptations and Quincy Jones, and the list goes on. I am so happy that you're here. We're going to launch right into my guest, who is a great example of what she's written about. She is the author of The Lost Soul, not The Lost Soul, right? Just Lost Soul. And she was kind enough to give me a copy. And she was, let me ask you the first question. Did you, when you were a kid, did you think that you would be doing what you are doing now? And I'll give you a primer to the audience. The answer is no, because she used to be a madam and a stripper and an addict and a dealer. But she's going to tell you how that happened in a second. I'm still kind of, because I've known Sariah, let's see, when did I speak for you? When did you meet me first on stage? I spoke at John Shin's Wealth something inner circle.
The trainer.
Yeah.
Was it
5 years ago?
It was about a year ago. We've been knowing each other for about a year.
Oh, okay. Because the first time I spoke for him, my Asian big brother, shout out to him and Arlene, my sister. I spoke, and Sariah was so kind, and she came up and introduced herself. And I don't know, I think I need a new hard drive of memory or something. Because,
it's all good.
But anyway, so that's how I met you. And I had no clue about the past. Like, I just thought, oh, what a nice, and she's doing all these things. And so tell me what happened.
So I was brought up in church, and in the past, church was really strict. Like, we went to church literally 5 to 6 times a week. So we was beaten into church. We didn't have a God of our own. We served our parents' God. We served that God because we didn't even know what type of God we had.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I started hating God because I didn't experience him for myself at the time. And I had a full-time job at the age of 12, going to school full-time, going to work full-time. I was basically an adult at 12, but I was robbed of my childhood at 5. Of course, it's kind of normalized that you can get molested by a family member and not say anything about it. You better not say anything, because what stays in the house, what goes on in the house stays in the house. And me being so mature at a young age, I knew something was not right.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I feel like
no. Yeah. I'm right with you. We don't want to dwell in it. We don't want to be completely defined by it. But at the same time, I think it's important to recognize when that stuff comes up, just to take a second and go, yeah, that sucked, right?
Yeah, it did.
And kudos to you for getting to the other side of that, because there's a lot of people who either push that stuff down and it never gets dealt with, or they marinate in it, or I call it ruinate in it, because they can't get out of it. So and it happens more than we think. Like you said, it was kind of normalized. 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma. So kudos to you on that. I just want to take a breath with me. And just recognize, put your hand on your heart, recognize that little girl who just knew and did not die from that horrific thing that happened to her. Okay.
Yay. So that little girl knew something was wrong. And then what happened?
She went off.
Okay.
She went off. So the thing that hurted me the most is no one wanted to listen. Because I'm the middle child, so I was the black sheep of the family. I'm now a lovely lamb. But at that time, it was maybe she just want any kind of attention, even if it's bad or good. We don't want to have to hear it from her. And I get it in a way because I always had something to say. I wasn't quiet about anything. Very mature. Quiet about anything. Anything that happened to me, either I took action or you wish you never did it. So it was a lot of bad things that did come along with some of the things that I said because I was never being heard. So instead of dwelling into that, I turned it into so much more good, But before then, I was the worst person you could ever cross.
Wow.
The worst person you could ever cross because I felt like I was crossed at a young age.
And you were.
So you cannot just come at me any kind of way.
Right. Okay. So what happened with the trauma is that you developed a coping mechanism, which happens to all kids who have had childhood trauma, is we learn how to survive that horrific thing with all kinds of not great habits, but it helped us survive. And that becoming a dealer, an addict, a madam, a stripper, it's not uncommon. I picked a man who also treated me in the way that I felt I deserved to be treated, which was badly, right? So we internalize that kind of negative feeling about ourselves and we become the worst version of ourselves. So and I can tell you're a person that if I'm going to do it, I'm going all the way. So we went all the way bad.
And I was good at it.
I can only imagine. I close my eyes. I can see you on that stage just going.
All on the pole, everything. Flipping, dipping.
I'm going to pull it. Go ahead and keep talking. I actually took a shot of your back cover of the book. Let's see if I can find it now. But keep talking.
Yeah. So the fact that I got pregnant at the age of 12, I was told I never could have kids. I had 10 miscarriages.
Whoa. Was this the molester that did that to you?
No.
Okay, so you were very sexually active at the age of 12.
Yes, looking for love.
Looking for love. Places.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, I didn't have a lot of sex only because I wasn't good at having sex with someone I couldn't be with for the rest of my life. So I became a madam. I sold sex and watched it.
Okay.
So that's how I fulfilled my needs.
And this and this is like you're probably the youngest. If they did a Guinness World Book of Records on the youngest madam, you may have gotten that award. Maybe, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you became a madam. Next,
I became a madam. I became a dealer. I had like several homes with females from all nationalities. And
where was this?
This was in Randallstown of Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, Maryland.
I had my first house with all the females. You could get them from any color, pregnant, not pregnant, whatever it was. I had it. Like I felt like if I was gonna be a madam, I could have whatever you want. Like just a one-stop shop.
How old were you at this point?
So I'm 18 with my first house.
Wow.
Full of girls.
And you it's you bought the house with what you made as a stripper and
A
a man.
stripper, yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. I think you're my first stripper on this show. Okay. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who the heck is in my studio this morning, her name is Sariah Parker. She is the best-selling author. Her new book, A Lost Soul, is what we're going to get to, but we're setting the scene. You know, the first half of the show, I always like to talk about what it was. Put the moose on the table, my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. And Sariah really knows what a lost soul is because she is painting us a real picture of what her life was like growing up. And we're now at 18. Keep going. I'm afraid to go, but keep going.
I became a big time drug dealer. And you really didn't want to cross me because instead of, going for your life, I just tortured you and made you wish you was dead. I never took lives, but you wish you were dead if you mess with me at that time.
What would you do? Like, give me an example.
Like, cut them, put lemon juice on the cuts, maybe 30, 40 wounds, and have them scream Bloody Mary, please kill me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Remind me not to cross you.
No, I'm not like that anymore.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You wouldn't be on the show.
Yeah.
But, just having fun with you. So,
yeah.
So this was your life, late teens. Did you keep the child that you were pregnant with at 12?
No, that was my first stillborn. She was it was a stillbirth. Like you could see her transparent eyes. Like you could see her eyeballs behind the lids. You could see all the veins. I wouldn't even let her go. I wouldn't let her go because they told me I could never have kids. And then I have a stillborn and I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen from here? But then after that, it just went downhill. So I did my first beer and cocaine at the age of 12. Because I was a madam, I was able to get in clubs that was 40 and over and do any kind of drugs I wanted to do. I always ran away from home. I just did me because I didn't know what life was without the church every 6 to 7 days a week or 5 to 6 days a week. Most of my family was on drugs. So it was like a generational curse. And my mom was the only one out of most of my family that was a Christian. And it was just, to me, it was just torment. It was just torment because if you can't teach someone that the God that you have is loving and you saying that if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, everything was like, no matter what you did, you was going to hell. If you cursed, if you had lipstick on, if you wore pants, if you wore shorts, if you cut your hair, if you wore makeup. So I'm like, what kind of God is this?
So if I'm going to hell anyways for little things, I might as well go for the big things.
Exactly. Just go over and beyond. That's how I'm an overachiever. I'm an overdoer. I'm like, I'm gonna find out the right way if this is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we get that. We got that about you. Let's go to we're at the bottom of the hour. So this is a turning point now. What happened as we move into solution? Because one of the reasons why I brought Sariah on is she's a great example of how you can take the darkness in your life, take the shiitake that happens in the dark, take what has happened up to your life to a certain point and decide differently. And that's what this show's about. That's what my life's about. That's what I think life in general is about. This is a precious thing, but it does not matter what has happened in your past. It is never too late to have an amazing life. And so she's a great ambassador for that. So tell me what happened to go from madam addict, torturer to
I'm sorry.
best-selling author, entrepreneur, coach, lover, loving, loved person that you are. What happened?
So at the end of my road, I was in this apartment building, of course, reading the Bible from front to back, smoking crack at the same time.
No.
I mean, I was crying for help. Literally. Whew.
Good. Good. I love it when my guests cry because tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. And it shows that your heart is open to me. Thank you so much. I honor your tears. Take a breath. They're beautiful. You are beautiful. I love it. I know I'm sadistic host. I love the tears. I'm glad you're not apologizing for it. No one is allowed to apologize for crying on my show. Oh, take a deep breath in through the nose and just feel the beauty of expression. Feel the beauty of the cleansing of the tears.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So
that was
you
the
were
first time I cried in a minute talking about this.
good. And don't stop. Don't stop. It keeps you, very eight-dimensional, I call it. We are eight-dimensional, right? Body, mind, spirit, soul. Okay. So you're smoking crack and you're reading the Bible.
Yeah, and I actually start hallucinating, hearing things, thinking the world can see me through the TV. I'm actually watching a basketball game. I'm thinking the commentator, I don't know the word, but the guy that was talking about the basketball game was really talking about me, and the crowd was laughing at me. And then I decided the next day that I was going to church and I was going to ask for help for one last time. I mean, one last time. Because every time I ever asked for it, because my mom is a pastor, my father is a prophet, you have to put a face on to try to protect them, even though people know the truth. So they just tell you, just pray about it. You be okay. Just pray about it. But I went to this church. I'm telling you, best church in the world. He is so down to earth. Dr. Didi and Mike Freeman, Spirit of Faith, kudos to you all, because I went in there and they just knew that I was demonic. They was like, this girl's possessed. And I was letting them know, and they was on TV. They be on TV, and I was like, I'm on crack and need help, and I want my kids back. And if you don't help me, either someone is going to get killed or I'm going to die. And they took me in a foyer and said, Sariah, just calm down. We're going to help you. We're going to help you. And they did just that. I wound up going to the hospital June the 3rd. On June the 4th, I was in June the 5th, because they made me go home. I had a big knife on me and things like that. They said they was going to keep me and they was going to take me to a rehab center, but they didn't. But they made me go home, and they said the next morning we'll send an Uber for you and we'll take you to the rehab center. And they did just that. I had like 5 totes built up on top of each other and just took them from the 5th floor all the way down to the 1st floor at one time. And I went to what is it called? Hope something Hope Center. And when I went there, I never went back. So I've been clean over 5 years now. June 5th, 2018 was my clean date.
Hold on.
And I never.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So you are clean and sober now over 5 years. That was the turning point for you. You sought help. You asked people to help you. And that's awesome. That is so awesome. And so it's been quite the ride since.
Yes. Awesome ride.
Awesome ride.
Awesome, amazing ride.
So for people who are feeling the way you did, so you were feeling very desperate. You knew that this was not you. You knew that you were unhappy. What it sounds like the pattern here as we are continuing. I mean, it's not mental health month, but it's mental health life. And the good news about all of this stuff that's been going on is that mental health is no longer something you don't talk about, right? So for people who are tuned in, who are feeling like they are a lost soul, and I think all of us at some point do feel a sense of being lost, right? All of us do in life, especially if you're one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. It's a normal place to be, because if you are not lost, you cannot find yourself, right? So the blessing in being lost is that you know that something's missing. So would you say that there was a moment of surrender?
Yes, it was definitely surrender. Like I surrender all to him. And it was crazy because I never knew about this like Holy Ghost spirit or being filled with the spirit, Holy spirit. And that day before I went to church, I actually started feeling something come up in my gut. And I felt like a heat go over my head, and I fell to my knees and start talking in tongues.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have never experienced anything like that in my life. In my life, it felt like something took over me. And I was in a fog, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And it sounded like it was English to me, but I knew it wasn't, because it wasn't English I was speaking. So when I went into that church, before I went in there, of course, I tried to wash my hands and take the cigarette smell off me and try to look a certain way. And something just spoke so loud to me and say, come as you are. That's the only way I'm going to help you, if you come as you are. And I went in there just as I was. And if you can see that picture, I wasn't too far off from that picture on the back of the book. I wasn't too far off on that picture. I came in there looking dead, gray, like I lived on the streets. I know I stunk of alcohol and cigarettes and crack. And, I used to shoot in my neck to down to my toes. I mean, I was a total mess. A total mess. And once I went in there and I came as I was and asked for help surrendering all that I had left, and I wasn't asking again. This was the last. I actually told God, if you don't do what you're going to do today, I demanded him to do what he said he was going to do. And then I found out that the God that I had lived inside me. It wasn't just someone else's God. It was a God I created inside of me and ignited inside of me to live outside of me and to get to the next step. So the God that I have inside of me is gangster, just like I was back in the day. He is so gangster. Like anything I put my hand and mind to, I gets it done. And it can't be done no better than the way I do it. I can't hear you.
Here's the picture. I tried to pull it up on there, but the format's giving me issues. So here's the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
Put up the camera so you can see that that top picture. That's what she used to look like in the midst of all the experiences that she was just talking about. And now you can see her on the nice picture and on camera. It was quite the transformation. Now, not everyone does that kind of dramatic, spiritual kind of a transformation. And if you haven't had that, we're not advocating that you go through that. This is my guest experience. I didn't have that kind of experience, but I also had a very surreal, I didn't have people talking to me on TV, but I did hear a voice that said, tapped me on the shoulder and said, darling, because I had been church shopping. And because I knew that the way that I was running my life, I may have looked good on the outside, but inside I was so in pain. I was so lost. I was so, nothing I did. The person that hated me the most was me. And no matter what good I did, no matter what kind of accomplishments I had, I still felt like a piece of shiitake. And then I'd come out in public and I was hot shiitake. And then inside I felt like I was a piece of shiitake, hot shiitake pizza. And it was a very exhausting way to live. And so when I got the finger on my shoulder, the voice said, "Darling, you can church shop your entire life and have fun with that. But know that I've always been here waiting for you to turn around and dance with me." And that's when I went, waterfall, waterfall, waterfall. So if you've just tuned in or you've been listening to Sariah's story, this is not a religious conversion show, but it is a real looking at lost souls that we all at some point can get to, unless you've had a perfect life, in which case you probably wouldn't be tuned in here. But it is so important that we all get to that point, because when we turn that corner, what happens? What are you doing now? Tell me about the book and where we can get it.
I am an author of many books. I did the first book, Stories of a Lost Soul That Found Her Way. The second book was The Journey of Womenpreneurs That Rock, which is called Diamond and Pearls. I finished my journals, and my journals are coming out in a few weeks. And I'm working on my fourth book, which is the series of Stories of a Lost Soul, which is called The Untold Stories in the Midst of My Journey. So just because I live a different life, I'm still going through some things that most people would not be able to fathom. But I keep a smile on my face and I stay positive, because I've noticed every time I stay positive and I don't give no energy to the enemy or anything negative, all good still happens to me at the end. Every single time. People say, "Sariah, you got a horseshoe up your butt." And I'm like, no, I'm just blessed and I'm highly favored.
There's a new one. I love it. I have a horseshoe up my butt. That's going to be the saying for the day. If you just tuned in and you're enjoying my guest as much as I am, her name is Sariah Parker, and you are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we're talking about lost souls and finding ourselves in whatever way that it happens. I am going to give Sariah something that I don't always give my guests, because it's specifically to award people who have come from darkness, who have come from a place that is very dark. And usually because someone turned the lights off on them, not that they brought it on themselves, although after the light was turned off, she did plenty of running around amok in the dark. But she's now using her experiences to help other people who've had similar experiences and to help people become healthy, wealthy, and wise. So for that, I'm giving Sariah Parker the Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, where can people find the book, and what would you say? Well, first of all, go ahead. Where can people find your book? How do they connect with you?
So they can connect with me on social media. That's the fastest way. I'm very interactive. I will interact with you all the time. Sariah Parker Pill is the name. And what I do now, if that's what you want me to talk about, because I know we're coming down to the end, I do a lot. I'm a serious serial entrepreneur. I'm an author. I'm a licensed general contractor. I used to be a roofer and a mechanic. So I still love, working with my hands and getting dirty with the guys because I believe I was my father's son,
Not that kind of dirty, folks, if you heard the first part of the show. Just want to clarify.
Exactly. They always think I'm trying to show them up, but no, I'm showing them that if you put everything you have into what you do, it doesn't matter if you're a male, female, you can do just a great job at it. And I do things with excellence. My turnover for any project is like almost within 24 hours. I'm going to speak to you. I'm never going to turn you away. I help the homeless on a continuous basis because I remember where I was at out there. I get to know them, their name, they flag me down like, hey, Sariah, guess what happened to me type of thing. And I just do that because I really would like to put their stories in books and let them show other people that it happened for me, it can happen for them, and it can happen for anyone in the world, as long as you put your mind to it first. You have to create and have a mind that is renewed into the new you. I still have a therapist and a psych doctor, because if I need anything or if something triggers, the evil person I used to be, I'm going to call them. Now, that haven't happened in years, but I have them on there because even though I'm not a monster anymore, that monster still is inside of me, just sleep. And I don't want to be in any situation that she's awakened because I'm scared of her. I mean, if you've seen that picture, she's not nothing to be played with. She's a dead walking zombie. And she doesn't care about anything but herself.
So I feel led to I don't know what they're doing out there, but I feel led to say this, Sariah, because it's a common thing that kids who've had trauma, and you had horrible trauma to be molested in your home and at such a young age, that we develop what you're calling your monster because it is a coping mechanism. And often we feel like that is not who we are, and we want to kill or bury or push down that other persona. And it has been my experience, and when I coach, that part of the healing process is not to hate that person, because this person right here, as unattractive on the outside, she is, and I'm going to call her Sarah, because Sarah is a part of you, and I don't want you to throw her out because she helped protect you, a little dangerously, mind you, but she helped protect you. Actually, I'm not going to call her Sarah because that's my daughter's name. And actually, Sarah is your little girl. That's the name of my little girl. She's the one that could never cry, couldn't say anything, and is afraid. So you have that aspect of you too. You don't let her out very often. She cried today. It's a good thing to let her out because her healing and your integration of Stormy is the less attractive one. Stormy is the angry one. Stormy is the one who fought for you. If you hadn't had Stormy, you probably wouldn't be here anymore. I had the same thing. If I didn't have Agnes, I'd be dead. If I didn't have Rose, the critical one, I'd be dead because it was so horrific as a child to go through what I went through. So I'm going to ask you today to be the day that you begin to have a good relationship. she doesn't have to take over. But the flip side to Stormy is protection. And you are very protective and loyal. You said that about yourself because you have Stormy. So I want you to begin to let her out, not fully, no lemon in wounds, in toad, not full force, right? But to value the part of you, the ugly side of us, to value the not perfect side of us, to value the angry part of us, and not try to kill the critic, not try to kill the ugly one, but to embrace all of who we are. To me, that's how we become happy. To me, that's how we begin to love ourselves. That's how we begin to really embrace the magnificence of the totality of who we are. And at that point, when you begin to do that, I believe you will see even more, although you don't need it, that thing that you talk about, that amazing part of that. Because when we push against something and try to exclude, so when you say, I don't let her in, and whenever I feel her, I want to put her back or bury her again, I believe that that's the part of you that is still, when you block anything, you block everything. So I want you to try it. So when you feel her coming up, say, I love you. I appreciate all that you did to keep us alive. Just that much. And when, I'll tell you from my experience, when I allow all parts of me to be fully alive, so my critic who protected me, but is a pain in the assets because she's always criticizing me. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done. So, but when I allow her and say, I got it. I hear you. You've been yelling at me my whole life, but thank you for protecting me. The brat, the one that says, you're not the boss of me. I can have, what do you mean I can't have that Krispy Kreme? And what do you mean I have to call that person back? The flip side of the critic, the flip side of the brat is fun. So I think you have definitely allowed your brat to come out because you have a lot of fun. You laugh. So that's the flip side. But we also know that, you're right. If I follow my brat, I ain't ever going to get anything done. And that's one of the things, entrepreneurs have a very strong brat because we start a lot of things, but we don't necessarily finish a lot of things, right? That's the downside of an entrepreneur. So because the brat is so active, we have to develop a balance-centered self. So you today, balance-centered Sariah, are now going to be the boss of the whole. And you're going to have conversations with Stormy and love her, but ask her to sit in the passenger side of you're driving your life car. You're going to put your brat, let's call her Cece the brat. It's going to sit in the back. And then the sad one, Sarah, is going to be behind you so you can protect her. So from this point on, your very strong, balance-centered Sariah is going to be driving your life car where you're not afraid of Stormy.
And you did it so well. You said it so well because honestly, I actually still have rah-rah. Sorry to tell you. I do have rah-rah and I love her to death because she did get me here and I don't regret anything I've been through because if it wasn't for what I went through, I wouldn't be here today. I would not be the person I am today. And if I had to do it over, I know I'm the right person to be able to do it. I know I am. So I have rah-rah and I have a couple other ones, but they went from 30 of them until like 3.
Yeah. So I'm glad you already have a name for Stormy. It's rah-rah. And this is, as silly as it sounds, honestly, this is the model that I give in this. I'll just, I think I'm going to send you, right? I said I was going to send you an audiobook copy of this. So this isn't a book as a psychologist telling you how to be happy. This is a workbook, and all the things that I just told you that we just did a live life happiness coaching with Sariah. Wasn't planning on it, but I heard that last little piece, that you're not going to fight, right? That you're going to embrace all parts of you.
Yes, yes.
That is the ticket, folks. I believe
I do.
not for everybody, but I have a believer here, and I know the people that I've coached know that the moment that we begin to embrace fully who we are is the moment that we can begin not regretting anything and not being afraid of anything. She's a great example. She got no fear, right?
None.
And I got to give credit to Michael Duvert, who is also in my financial family with the Shins. And we're all in the same family. Shout out to Dan as well. We're all in the same family, and he said in Vegas, he said to me, "You live as if you have no barriers to life," and that's the gift that everybody has. And I will quote you: if you put your mind, and I add heart and soul and spirit to your life, you can do anything. Anything, right? You go up, #UP, unlimited possibilities. I am so glad to have had Sariah Parker in my studio. She is the author. Get this book. It's Lost Soul. You can get it. I think you can get it on Amazon too. Did I see that on Amazon?
So I have my own website you can go to get it. If you just come to me, I'll send you the website and I will autograph it before I send it out to you. I just want you to get a piece of me in everything that I do.
Yes, the good, the positive side of you. What is your website?
So my website is on joke form. Let me see if I can give it to you real quick. I can put it in the chat, and I'm not
great. That would be great. And if you just tuned in and you missed most of this show, you will have to go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, Dr. Marissa Pay, because you will enjoy it. And tomorrow we're going to have another part of our financial family with WFG, Allie and RJ. Is it RJ? I am not good with names, so I will. Yes, it is right. I had it right. Yoo-hoo! Allie and RJ will be coming on. I don't know if you know them, but it's like 30,000 people in that arena. I wouldn't expect you to know all of them, but they're going to be on tomorrow. And I'm so delighted to continue to bring you on this show some really loving, lovable, and loved and truly fun people to meet you and inspire you and to encourage you to have your best life. Okay, there is, you put it in the private chat, but let me just bring this up before we go into our final minute.
Okay.
There it is.
So one thing I just want to say while she's doing that is to let you all know I'm actually living my dream job. My dream business is not even a job. It's great, and it's in financial services. And if you need any help with finances and knowing where to put your money at so it can work for you, so when you reach wealth, you can stay wealthy, please reach out to me. I'm your girl.
And there it is. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Dr. Marissa, reporting live from my living room. Remember, it's all about balance. I think I'm in my final minute. Yes, I am in my final minute. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. Take that off here. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. Thank you, Sariah Parker.
Thank you.